Hey there, fellow wanderers. This is Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and I got another Diablo 4 video for you. A couple days ago, I talked about my Frost Witch build, and I've been doing a lot of work on it, and I definitely have got her pumped up to be a lot more powerful. So I'm going to demonstrate her in combat here in the Core Valar Ramparts. This is on World Tier 3. We went ahead, beat the game, beat the Capstone Dungeon, and now we're gathering all kinds of cool stuff. So it's going to be quite the difference from the other day. Let's cue up the music and get right into it. Alright, so I'm basically going around trying to get all these little dungeons done with this character, because when you get them and you get the aspects from them, they are open for every character that you play. Free 5 prisoners here. So, alright, here's our first combat. So I think we handled ourselves pretty nicely on World Tier 3 there. Well, let's go ahead and take a consumable. That way we'll get our XP up. XP, you get like 100% extra XP from enemies and stuff like that on this. You get better gold. You get different drop rates for weapons and armor and gear. I've been getting tons of yellow stuff, you know, rare stuff. Lots of legendaries and some sacred stuff mixed in with that. So that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to getting some elites. I think there's one in here. Yep, there sure is. A couple of them. Alright, they're taking a little bit of a hit on us now, but done. See, everything's dropping yellow. Gold's dropping a couple hundred now instead of, 30 or 40 or whatever it was, 100. So yeah, we definitely made some improvements. One of the ways we did it was, we're a few levels higher now, not a ton, but a few.
I need time to...
There we go, let's do this. And so that gave us more Paragon points. Every level you go up, that's 4 Paragon points. We also got some more Renown. And the Renown got us some Paragon points. I think we got 4 for the one region that we have Renown in. What happened there for a second? There's another minion, okay. There we go. I knew you were here somewhere. Alright, toasted. Excuse me. So yeah, so we got some more Renown. That helped us out a little bit with 4 Paragon points. We got a lot of Paragon points for leveling up a few levels. We may have got another ability point or 2. See, Fractured Peaks were all the way up, right? We already had that done. Whoop. Hey man, that's rude. Okay, we'll look at that later. 3 more prisoners to go. Not sure if we have a big boss at the end, but this character holds her own against bosses a lot better now. You can see she's handling the elites alright.
I need more time. Out of mana once again.
But this is still all about making them vulnerable. Chilled, frosted, all those different status effects, and then taking advantage of it. That's what this build is all about. And, I'm quite pleased with how it's worked out. Hopefully there's a prisoner or two in here. Oh, there's definitely an elite. We'll lead off with that.
I need time to prepare.
As you can see, that combo there
I lack the needed mana.
killed almost every non-elite creature on the screen.
I need more time.
And now this last one is just a matter of punching each other, see who lasts longer. Almost missed this. And I'm at a point now where I'm throwing out anything that's not yellow or above if I have to go back to town. It really depends on what I'm doing. If I'm just out looking for XP, then yeah. I'll do that to minimize the amount of time I have to spend down, jerking around town. I bet you there's one down that way. We're going to go back that way. Starting to figure out, these dungeons are set up very similar to the older style dungeons from Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Yep, there it is. That purple guy's a champion.
Precious mana.
He gives a buff. And these guys don't appear till World Tier 3. But he gives a buff to the other guys within the vicinity of him. So it's always good to kind of take him out first. There we go.
Couldn't have made it without you.
I know, you damn right you couldn't have. So you see that? Sacred, right? Those will drop in any rarity. So in the beginning I was collecting all of them, but I'm like, no, there's really no point in collecting low-level sacreds. They're worthless. Alright. 2 more prisoners to go. Try, Inquisitor. So this holds its own up close, like this, and from a distance as well, this build. That's what I like about it. It's pretty versatile. Depending on what's going on will depend on how I approach a battle. Sometimes I'll go straight in, run into the middle of everybody, do a Frost Nova, and then just start shredding them with the Blizzard and my, basic attack. Let's let this guy out. Watch out for those spikes, bro. Oh, never mind. As you were. As you were. A little too late for spikes. Okay. Yeah, so I'm kind of figuring out how they structure these and to be a little more efficient going through them. Yeah, it's one minor caveat with this game is that once you clear a dungeon out, it's clear, I'm not going to find magically respawning creatures as I backtrack, which is both good and bad. It's good because if you're in a hard dungeon or you're playing, a little bit above your level, you're not going to have to worry about backtracking and increasing the risk of dying. Instead, you just know that once you get past a certain area, you're good to go. Oh, that was weird. But it's bad because, on the other hand, you may want guys to respawn so you can, continue to gather XP. The action in this game is so fast-paced that, you can fight and move almost as quickly as you can just fight. There's brief moments of, that pause you and slow you down a little bit, but for the most part, man, the combat's quick. You're not dealing with a bunch of bullet sponges, so to speak, and all that kind of crap. Blast Wave Shrine. Oh yeah, this is the one that pulses out damage. Look at that, they froze me. Whoa. I heard of fighting fire with fire, but not fighting ice with ice. As you can see, I'm healing up nicely. We're not having to pop potions all the time. Every now and then it'll get hairy in a particularly large fight if I'm not ready for it. And I have to go through a couple potions. But for the most part, just like we're doing here, we're controlling every fight by hitting them from a distance, weakening them as they get closer to us. If they get too close, we pop a Frost Nova to freeze them. And then finish them off with a combination of Blizzard and a very basic attack. So we're going to have Lieutenant Tumen. So he should be an elite. And whatever we get from him, the key, will most likely open the door to the boss fight. Ooh. We're just going to go in fully aggressive here. Yeah, we didn't target the right guy.
I'm out of mana.
Oh, we got another one? Oh no, it's still him. He's alive. Or was alive. So yeah, sometimes I'll lead with the Frost Blast, sometimes I'll just lead with a Blizzard from a distance. It really depends on what I'm seeing on the screen. Uh-oh, got me stunned.
Oh, precious mana.
Alright, here we got a nice big group, so I'm going to lead with the big gun. Follow it up with a Frost and another Frost Nova. And then just combine all that with tons of Blizzards and basic attacks. See, we had to pop a potion on that one. It's got a little bit hairy.
I need more time.
That's the guy with the shock lances going around.
I need more time.
Yeah, there's what, 3? I think there's 3 elites here.
I need more time.
Still got one more? Yeah, that guy's not down yet. Alright. But again, we had to pop a couple potions. But we were never desperate. Never, I did wait a little long before I popped the first one, so that would have been my bad had we not made it, but, it's all good. Ah, here's our guy. Alright. So he's a lot tougher than your normal elite. That's why we start off with that big attack, because when that's finished, we get a barrier for a little while,
I'm not
and that's
ready yet.
massively helpful. You can see we handled that pretty easily. So we're going to head up there now, and we're going to go see if there's a boss here, a big boss. If there is, that'll be fun to see how she performs on that. I assure you, when I'm just playing for fun, she's doing great. This one, who knows, she may fail, but we'll see. A lot of factors here. Oh, we got a triple threat. Alright, so I like to lead these big boss fights with that big attack because it takes a long time. You see, almost a full minute to recharge, right?
I'm low on precious mana.
So we will have an opportunity to use it again. Very often, that's a one and done in a fight. Here's the physician guy. I fought this group before in different situations. But look at that, man. Done. Done. Barely any time at all. We got the Blast Trapper's aspect. I think that one's for the Rogue, if I'm not mistaken. Added to our Codex of Power. Yeah. So let's go back to town, and I'll show you what we're looking at now, build-wise. Alright, so first off, let's go to our abilities here, and let's go to our skill tree. We'll start with the basics. Nothing's changed here. We still have the Frostbolt, the 5/5, with the 50% chance to explode chilled enemies, and making frozen enemies vulnerable. Again, this is all about vulnerability. Here, we've got ice shards. I don't really use it, but we do have something that will make them automatically pop, which is kind of neat. And then they got maximum mana increased by 9. Whoop-de-doo. Alright, here we got Ice Armor and Frost Nova, and that's a 7 of 5. So one of my items gives me +2 to that, which is a huge help. And then I got something else that I just extracted and put on a piece of gear that gives me a second Frost Nova, but it raises the cooldown time quite a bit. So there's a payoff on, there's a cost to that. The modifiers here on the Frost Nova are killing enemies frozen by Frost Nova reduces its cooldown by 1. That takes up to 4 seconds off, and it also makes enemies vulnerable. Then we got the glass cannon, 18% damage more, 9% damage coming in more. Boom. We move on to ice blades. This is a level 3. I only have 1 point in it. It's just kind of a throwaway thing just to have something on this level. I do use it in combat from time to time. It's decent, but we really don't have anything else in here right now. Here's the bread and butter. A Blizzard, rank 7 of 5. That's because, again, item contribution, which is a huge help. The modifiers, it deals 25% increased damage to frozen enemies when cast above 50 mana. Its duration is increased by 4 seconds. So I have like 100 and something mana, so the first 2 that pop off will be a little bit longer, which is kind of nice. And I got the Icy Veil, barriers, and you saw the barrier comes into play. Barriers have 15% increased duration. When it's active, we apply more chill. And Frost Skills have a 9% chance to instantly freeze, which is nice. Moving on to the big gun, the Deep Freeze. This is that one that takes about a minute to cool down. It's freaking awesome. It does 4 seconds, 461 to 563 damage. Chills enemies 14%, and when it expires, it deals an additional 1800 to 2200 damage. That's huge at the end. When it ends, 10% of my base life becomes a barrier for 6 seconds for each enemy that I freeze. So That's why I like to run in on big groups with that and just hammer it out. Boom, pop that off. When it's done, I get this huge amount of time with a barrier. Then I pop off a Frost Nova and finish up whoever's left. You see, that works pretty good. When it ends, non-ultimate cooldowns are reduced by 50%. So if you do pop off something beforehand, like if I was to jump in, do Frost Nova, and then that, it would help get those things going again. Then we got the Permafrost, 15% damage to elites, 9% damage to chilled enemies, 18% to frozen. Cold damage against vulnerable enemies have a 20% chance to generate 15 mana, which is nice. It's kind of like a good way to get the blizzard back up and running fast. And I deal 12% increased cold damage to vulnerable enemies. Vulnerable. We go to our key passive here, and that's Shatter. After freeze expires, enemies explode for 25% of the damage you dealt to them while they were frozen. Yeah, that helps. Alright, well, let's look at our gear now. And let's look at our character overall, actually. So we're level 57. Here's our strength, intelligence, willpower, dexterity, and vulnerable damage. So extra damage granted against vulnerable enemies is base value 20. So I need to upgrade this, and I've opened up my second Paragon board in the hopes of upgrading this. This is something I'm going to work on to increase that damage. I'm looking for items that will do it. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's one of the main things here. Alright, equipment. Let's look at the key things here. You take 24% less damage from crown-controlled or vulnerable enemies. You get +2 rank in Ice Blades there, too. This one here, we gain an additional charge for Frost Nova. This is the one I was telling you about that I imprinted. Gain an additional charge, but the cooldown is increased by 37%, which is a lot. Yeah, that's a new piece of equipment. You can see it's a sacred legendary chest armor. Our gloves here, we deal 25% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies, and 2 ranks of ice shards. We heal for 13 damage per second for each close enemy, up to 66 life per second. That's why I don't mind jumping in the fray with this character. Typically, a sorceress stands back and shoots from afar. She jumps right in and gets to fighting. 2 ranks of Blizzard, putting it at 7 of 5. 21% damage for 4 seconds after killing an elite. So that's kind of nice. That's why I don't mind jumping in with those multiple elites. Every time I kill one, I get a little boost for a little bit. The Bounding Conduit gained 23% movement speed for 3 seconds after teleporting. We'll talk about teleporting in a second. But 1 rank of Frost Nova in this one. That really helps. Then we'll go to our wand. I used to use a staff. I switched to a wand and a focus because I think it gives you a little more versatility. We deal 25% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. Let's see, and that execute. I don't know if you saw that pop up on screen, but we have, a chance to execute enemies, which is killing them without dealing a terminal amount of damage. It's just a chance of just instantly killing them. Here's some more. 19.6% damage for 4 seconds after killing an elite. Skills deal up to 23% increased damage depending on the available primary resource when cast, receiving the maximum benefit when you have full primary resource. That's kind of a throwaway. I will be replacing this amulet. I'm not really happy with it, but it is what it is for now. It's as good as I got. Alright, here we go. Distant damage to crowd-controlled enemies is up. Damage to slowed enemies is up. Again, we crowd control, we slow enemies down, we freeze them. Distant enemies have an 8% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds when they hit you. You deal 28% increased damage to stunned enemies. So that's, it helps her out when she jumps into the middle of the fray and is in all that melee combat with a whole bunch of guys. And then on the outskirts, you've got some archers picking at you. This helps deal with that. Our other ring, legendary ring. We deal 29% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. Again, see? Life on kill, maximum life, yep. And then our focus. So this one, a little bit of a cooldown reduction. Our imprinted ability here is we deal 25% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. Again. So there you have it. That's what that is all about. And let's go to our skill assignment here real quick. I'll show you the 2 enchantments I have in place. First off, we have teleport, which I don't have on the regular thing. I don't use it, but it basically replaces my dodge with a teleport. So if you saw me teleporting around in combat, it has a long cooldown at 17 seconds, but it's much more effective in combat. Like if I find myself in deep crap, I can just teleport out real quick, twice if I have to, putting a lot of distance between the mob and myself, pop a potion or 2, and be ready to fight again from a distance this time. And the other one I've got is ice shards. Ice shards automatically conjure and fly towards frozen enemies. And again, we don't have any points into that, I don't believe. Maybe we had 1. No, we didn't have any. There's 2 there. But that's from our different items. Yeah, I think we have 1 item that gives us 2 points in it, so it does help out a little bit. It's kind of like a free spell at this point. Maybe down the road we'll put another point in it. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, let's look at our Paragon board real quick. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but we are on the second board here. The second board is, this is what I'm looking for here. Killing frozen enemies grants you 15% maximum life as a barrier for 300, or maximum for 5 seconds. So yeah, damage to chilled enemies. Chilled enemies. There's a lot of that on here. As you can see, we advanced through the first board. We're working our way over to this here. Damage to chilled enemies. And then eventually this one here. And then maybe we'll head off into the distance and see what the next board has to offer. Well, that's it on my Frost Witch, guys. Thanks for stopping by. This video is a lot longer than the last one, but a lot more in depth because I'm more comfortable with the character now. I think she really handles herself well. Obviously, we're on World Tier 3, so we're doing pretty good with that. We're not even level 60 yet. You know, like I said, one of the big mistakes I made early on was holding on to crappy lower-level gear and not really knowing how to imprint properly and get everything to synergize, but I think I've got it under control now with this character. So thanks for joining me. If you found this entertaining or informative at all, please leave a like on the video down below. Let me know what you think. Do you like frost damage? You know, you prefer fire, electric? I usually go for a more aggressive, fiery build, but this one works. I'm really liking it. We'll try out some different characters down the road here in the future. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications. I'll do Diablo 4 videos pretty much daily. I might miss a day here or there. I'm not doing any walkthroughs or anything like that. We'll see what happens here. And I'm geared more for the casual player, not these, you know, I'm not going to show you how to level up to level 100 in 5 seconds like a lot of these other guys claim to do. That's not my shtick. Alright guys, we'll see you next time. Until then, peace.